Hey everyone, Will Winter here with Agent CRM. I've got an important update to share with you, probably one of the more important updates that I've shared before. This is concerning A2P10DLC compliance. I'll get into that in a minute, but essentially this relates to how you as a business can use your phone to interact with contacts, to interact with even your clients moving forward. We've got a simplified phone registration that I'll walk you through using a new tool called Trust Center. Just a little bit of background here. There's a new sheriff in town. A little bit of history to why this is happening. Um, the US telecommunications used to be a little bit like the Wild West. You could grab a phone number, you could text to your heart's content, blast out those messages, blast out that marketing. But if you are anything like my wife, you've noticed that spam is getting a little bit out of control. So the telecommunications networks, they got together and said, hey, we want to do something about this. And they created a registration process to vet out who are the good numbers, who are the good people that can send, and who needs to be put in maybe a little bit of a time out. This is called A2P10DLC. The breakdown here, it means application to person 10-digit long code. It's a really fancy way of saying you're using a computer to send text to people using a phone number. These carriers banded together, regulations to reduce spam rates. Now, here's the important thing for you as a user. Registration is going to be mandatory moving forward to have the privilege of texting as a business. Now, some of us, we like to think that this is a right, that this is something that we are owed by society. No, it is a privilege that we get to have. And if we want the benefits, we do need to play by some of those rules. And this is specific to US phone numbers. There may be other regulations that other countries roll out in the future, or your country may have something going on currently. But this new update is specifically for businesses operating in the US or countries that do business. Maybe some of your users are in the US and you do have a US number as well. A few important dates that are coming down the pipe. Maybe you're watching this after the fact, but this is something that is officially starting July 5th. On July 5th, you'll start to see a bit of a filtering start to gradually take place if you are not registered. Carrier costs are also going up just to incentivize and push people to register. So over the summer of 2023, you will see a little bit of an increased cost and decreased send rate if you are not registered. After August 2023, this is a hard deadline. If you are not registered, you just won't be able to send messages. This is the new way things are moving forward. This is not an Agent CRM thing. This is an industry-wide regulation around telecommunications. There will be a new error code that is released. 30034 may pop up on your contacts if you try to send without being registered due to this new regulation. But here is the good thing. We have a streamlined solution. Some of you have already been researching and looking into, what do I need to do? Oh my goodness, this feels complicated, confusing. Well, we actually, we saw this coming and we are looking to release this. It should already be out in most of your accounts. Trust Center. This is a fully integrated registration platform built right into Agent CRM. It's going to show up under settings, phone numbers, and you can see on the top right there, new Trust Center. A2P brand and campaign registration. You'll be able to fully submit your registration details. That will be submitted and you can see the status right in your own system. This is going to make it so much more straightforward to keep your identity clean and clear so that you can continue to message and see high deliverability rates moving forward. I'm just going to go over two of the main registration types. The two types are standard and sole proprietor. First of all, A2P standard low volume. That's going to be one of them. This is for people who have an EIN or an employee identification number. You will have better deliverability for marketing. Things like sending links and sending promotional type texts, you'll have no problem with using this registration type, but you do need an EIN to register with this type. The second type of registration is called sole proprietor registration. This is for sole proprietors, smaller businesses that do not have a business tax ID like an EIN. It is a lot simpler. It's a lot faster to get approved, but you cannot send more than 3,000 text segments. That's about 160 characters roughly. You have a limited ability to send marketing messages. Some will get through, but based on your registration type, not as many, and you will be a little bit more scrutinized. And again, this is easier. It does not require a social security number or a DNUS there. Key thing that you need to know about these two types. Yes, sole proprietor is easier, but it's limited. If you have an EIN, always go for the standard low volume with EIN. You may think, hey, I want to get away with a faster or cheaper process. They will catch on. They will get you in trouble. They've got a pretty robust system for tracking and monitoring how you're using your registration. So those are the two types, standard and sole prop, that we'll go through. And I'm going to walk you through what the Trust Center registration process looks like. So we'll start with that standard registration here. You're going to go straight into the Trust Center to initiate the registration. You select the option with EIN. It will ask you yes or no. Here's an important note. The information that you are submitting needs to match the official government documents or database. Form CP575, that's what you would have gotten when you applied for an EIN. Also, W2 and W9 forms will have the correct information, but this is not just what is current or active. Maybe you've moved addresses. Whatever is listed in the government's database, this is the information you need to submit. It needs to be word for word. It needs to be even in the right order. If there's a comma or a hyphen out of place, that will trigger a manual review of your account, and it may take longer. Using this process, filling out the details as they're shown in this document will ensure the speediest registration process for your phone registration. So yes, fill in as accurately and diligently as possible. I don't mean to scare you. I just really want to hammer in this can be smooth and simple if we follow the steps. That's standard registration. I'll show you what that looks like. You can see on the left here, first of all, yes, I have an EIN, or no. You're going to click yes, and it's going to take you to step 2. Now, part of this registration process is you will have a couple additional fees. Again, this is going out industry-wide, no matter who you're with, where you go. This is the new way of telecommunications for businesses. You're going to have a one-time registration fee, and you're going to have a one-time standard campaign registration. So both your brand and your campaigns need to be registered. And you can see there at the bottom, I've got an arrow pointing to additional campaign fee of up to $12 per month will apply. Now this is going to fluctuate between $2 and $10 depending on your reputation. If you are someone who keeps a great reputation with your contacts, people don't mark you as spam because they appreciate and receive your messages, you'll have a lower cost. If you are abusing your registration, if you are mass spamming people, you will get flagged and see a higher rate for that fee. But again, these are new fees that we will just have to learn to accept because this is part of the privilege of using the powerful tools of messaging to nurture and to interact with our contacts, with our clients, etc. Standard details, again, fill out those business details as you have them as accurately as possible in accordance with what the government database has. Those forms that I shared earlier are going to be a great resource to filling in these documents. Step 5 here, you are going to have a authorized representative who is the person to interact with, and a phone number. You will be sending confirmation to yourself here. Step 6, this is also, it's all important, but I just want to highlight what you really need to pay attention to. Campaign use description. Now, in as much of these descriptions, you want to be detailed. There will be examples in each step, but things like this campaign sends a one-time passcode to end users when they try to log into our company's website. This campaign sends appointment confirmations to users who have booked a calendar appointment. This campaign will send a welcome text to users who have signed up for more information about insurance products through a Facebook form. You want to be detailed, you want to be clear. That's going to help you with the best chance of a speedy and successful registration. Step 7. These are going to be a place where you actually upload real examples of what types of messages you are sending. You want to send, what does that appointment confirmation look like, or what does that initial marketing text look like? And it needs to match your use case in the previous step, step 6. So if you say this is what it does, this is the example in step 7 that goes along with it. Again, on step 8, end user consent. How do users consent to receive messages? You're going to be able to read some of the examples, but including things like there is a checkbox on the form that they fill out that consents to receiving text messages. They opt in through this website. Again, the examples are there when you're walking through the process yourself. Opt-in keywords if you have any trigger keywords, and opt-in message. What is the initial message that you send those contacts? I will include some examples later for best practices, but something that is going to be key is that your initial text should include an opt-out response. Reply stop to opt out of these messages. Something like that. Some of you may need to go in and brush up your marketing campaigns or your follow-up scripts. That will be a key part of ensuring smooth registration. Sole proprietor registration. This is the second type, people who do not have an EIN. It's easier, but with low SMS volume. You're going to go through the same steps, but instead click no EIN and then just follow the prompts. I'll walk through that same step with you here. You can see no, don't have an EIN, one-time registration for brand, one-time registration for campaign. And in this case, the sole proprietor registration is lower, $250 per month, but you have a lot more limitations on what you can do. Steps, fill in the business details, step 3 and 4. Step 5 here, you're going to have a number for a one-time password or verification. This is going to be a personal number that you include. It's going to say, hey, did you start a registration? You're going to respond yes, and it's going to be almost instant for approval with this process. Again, this is the simplest way to move forward if you do not have an EIN. If you do have an EIN, you need to go the other route. Enter campaign details. Again, this is all the same steps as the other one. You do need to include examples. You can copy and paste those texts right into here from your campaigns. The consent options are going to be in there. If you do not register, I shared some of these dates before, but your SMS messages will start to fail and be filtered starting July 5th. That's coming up pretty quick as of the start of this video, as of the time of recording. You will see higher carrier charges. This is not us, this is the carriers that are passing on charges to push you into registering. August 31st, you will need to register if you want to use any A2P program, application to person messaging system. Bulk campaigns will have limited success during this window until registration is complete. So just to give you a heads up, yes, you will see some of your messages start to fail. You will see that error code that I shared earlier. So this is really going to be your motivation, that fire under you. This is some homework. We just need to jump on this and take advantage of the smooth process that's being set up. One thing I will note as well, as of now, as of this recording, because of the upcoming deadlines, people are going to be rushing to register, and that's actually going to take a few weeks. It's currently a few weeks to see a completion of your registration. So the sooner you start, the sooner you're going to ensure that those rates do not go up for you, or do not stay up rather, and you're also going to ensure that we can go through into the summer and especially into the fall with full functionality of your messaging services through carriers. Okay, here's some tips I mentioned I would share earlier. Things that they're looking for to ensure compliance. If you have forms, if you have websites that you can change this, including a checkbox like I consent to receiving marketing or promotional SMS text from your business, click yes. Those types of things they're looking for. And if you can update those, and then when you register, you're going to send an example of the site, they're going to be looking for that as much as possible. Your initial text must include your business name and an opt-out notice. I can't tell you how many times I've seen some eager, zealous new users just blast messages out. Hey, would you like more information about insurance or whatever your product is? Not even saying, hey, for example, this is Will from Agent CRM. I'm announcing who I am. I'm announcing my business. Thanks for signing up. If you no longer wish to receive these messages, text stop to opt out. So again, your name and business and an opt-out notice. Here's a third best practice. This may sound familiar to you. Text onto others as you would have others text onto you. Consider what language you would appreciate receiving if you were the recipient of a marketing SMS so that you can avoid being reported as spam. We want to be strategic and we want to be intentional and we want to be considerate with the nature of our campaigns, because our reputation for digital compliance is going to be something we need to actively protect. There's no more burning new numbers and moving on to the next one when your reputation is spoiled. We need to keep up great practices for compliance and also to be just decent people. Let's be honest here. Additional info, compliance happens on your account level. I've touched on this, but your reputation is actually going to be linked to your business now, not simply your number. If your number is getting a bad reputation, you'll need to rebuild that reputation. So making sure that our messaging is going to be smooth, our messaging is going to be straightforward, not overly spammy, helpful. That's what we're looking for. And following the steps laid out to the best of your ability is going to ensure a smooth and successful registration. Some of you may want to watch this video again. We have laid out as best as we can a clear next step for you guys. And the best practices will ensure that you protect your sender reputation and deliverability success moving forward. I'm sure there's 101 questions that might come up. What about this? What about this? This, as of 2023, is a new regulation that's being pushed out. Our system will update with more features as we go. Things like what happens if I change my address? What happens if I change from sole prop to get an EIN number and I need the standard registration? A lot of things are coming down the pipes, a lot of stuff we're still figuring out as well. But if you follow these steps, you're going to get full functionality, you're going to see full deliverability, and you're going to make sure that things run smoothly. So thank you guys for watching. I know this is a lot of homework that I've given you, but again, the steps we've laid out and the new tool, Trust Center, will walk you through one at a time how to use that full registration to be compliant with the new A2P10DLC registration. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck with your registration. We have to go through this too. So we'll see you hopefully on the other side. Part of the highlights here is that as much as a frustration as this is, we are going to see less spam rates in America. Woohoo! And our campaigns will be more successful moving forward because we are registered and the communications companies are passing those messages on where they need to get to. So thank you guys and good luck.